Why don't you enter at the top wick if you know that previous top wicks tapped that price and price rejected at that price? Because there's different POVs in terms of how I will look at the markets every day. So today, right? Let me try to explain this in the most simple way. But today, like, if I'm expecting, if overall we're bullish for the day, right? Or sorry, overall today we're actually bearish for the day. The day the count closed bearish. Yes. So overall, let's say today we're bearish, right? You can look for trades with the bearish direction, or you can look for trades that are more petty within the ranges. Both are gonna be fine, but you have to learn to know the difference between both of them, because you can't take the petty trade and expect a huge runner. You can take the trend trade with the trend and expect a huge runner, right? Because that's the day bias. But to take a trade within the ranges and expect that runner is totally different. So you ask the question like, why don't I just take the wick entry if I know it's gonna reject? Because if I'm looking for the overall idea to follow the trend today, which is the bias, which is the bearish bias, right? I'm looking for sells down. So for me to take buys as you're coming down for bottom wicks here is going to be a little tough, because for me to get buys up, which is still doable today, I'm going to need to see a closure above here, right? A closure above there will give us a higher probability of a direction headed to the upside. Because then if you close above, you're breaking above resistance, and therefore your next resistance is what next? This level. So you're now looking for a counter print and mirror that counter to the left, which are these ranges right here, right? So if I'm looking for buys, I would need to wait for a closure above and then a steeper bottom wick, because the bias for a day is bearish currently. Does that make sense? Whereas if I'm looking for a petty trade within the ranges, I'm like, you can take it with the bias or without the bias. It doesn't matter, because you're in the range and either way. So there's different ways to go about it. I just prefer not to take this entry. Like, why would I want this entry for? So I can push up towards like this range here. It's not bad. Like some days, like we could look for them, especially if the ranges are there. But in this case here, it's like a 10-pip range, a 16-pip range from here in the next resistance, right? If we understand that that's gonna be the range that we're in, it's gonna be a little tough. I'd rather just wait for the cleaner buy above here. Why would I want to sell down for less, right? But that doesn't mean me sell down for less. Doesn't mean that if you rotate the trade, it's wrong or it's bad. It's a bad idea. It's just that from my POV, it's not a highly it does I guess it doesn't have a high win rate compared to if I were to wait for a closure above. It doesn't have a high probability of playing out, right? But that doesn't mean, you know, if your data says that, okay, this is a highly probable trade, that's your data.